the seventh year that we go and work into this topic of connecting people to make businesses in the franchise environment, in the franchise industry, if you will, especially in Hispanic and Latino communities. We know from both our personal stories, and maybe I can speak also from your side, Ed, that many corporations and many companies are lacking diversity in their footprints and in their franchisee systems, and maybe, I mean, it's not something they have done on purpose, but they are growing, and sometimes growing into certain areas is difficult, is not easy. But those who have discovered that and those markets, and those who have embraced it and been able to grow there, have been seeing, you know, very, very large benefits and a lot of growth into their systems and into their brands and into their franchisees groups. So this is kind of the spirit of this event. We've always, before in person in 2019, we were trying to bring people to get together, discuss ideas, discover new concepts, share experiences, share stories about success, share stories about failures as well, and go deep in discussions about this market and this industry, and something that not many events around the country have. But these 2 years, last year and this year, in which we have evolved to a digital platform before going back to in-person, hopefully next year, we are concentrated in creating this big, great common, and still trying to facilitate this connection among people interested in this. And that is why I have invited Ed James, a very, very good friend of mine. I can say that because we met a long time ago, a few years ago, yes, while Ed was at 7-Eleven. And I know Ed was in the part of trying to get more diverse franchisees for the 7-Eleven system. And we did work 2 or 3 years together. I don't remember. It was a very good yes, experience. And now that Ed has evolved and has transitioned to some new concepts, I immediately was curious about what is James doing now. And when we talked and he described to me what he was doing, I said, this is a perfect example of what the kind of conversations and the kind of ideas that we would like to bring this year to the Latino Franchise Symposium. So with no more introduction, Ed, thank you and welcome to the Latino Franchise Symposium in this 2021. And just go ahead and maybe you can start by introducing you and a little bit of the concept that you have now.
Oh, absolutely. Number one, Jorge, I want to say thank you for having us, as far as BidExecs, a part of the Latino Franchise Symposium 2021. A major part of, again, as far as my core, when it comes to franchising, it is also data-driven. So that is a piece in which, you know, you and I, we've had many, many discussions about the data behind why should you have DNI and why should you promote as far as outreach in different sectors, as far as when it comes to the Black and Brown community. I really cut to the chase. It is data driven, and I have 20 years of experience in that, i.e. being with 7-Eleven and also prior to that with McDonald's. So my evolution to becoming a part of BidExecs really was evolution of knowledge about the government contracting, and the bottom line is it affects us all. I have been really in many ways blessed to actually been recruited by BidExecs, and the parent company is Proposal Helper, which has been around for quite a while. We are a new concept as far as when it comes to the contracting world. And when we say the contracting world, we're not just talking about government contracting, we're also talking about commercial contracting. As I also found in this field or this niche, it is also underrepresented when it comes to the Latino marketplace. Although the Latino marketplace is a major feeder within that overall marketplace when it comes to contracts. These contracts, it can range from every sector in which we cover 11 different sectors from a federal standpoint. Also, when you start talking about the state, local, educational, that is a great sub-market. We're also talking about grants. We're also talking about, again, a field in which it is a major underrepresentation from the Latino community, just the Black and Brown community, period. Now, again, I'm a proponent, I'm an advocate in which we need to get more of the Black and Brown community to be a part of these markets. And in many ways, it is a market in which there is tremendous growth and tremendous opportunity. Now, I know you're going to have some questions for me and everything, and grill me. Now, I have put together a quick slide in which would be great for me to share with you all, and then of course you can grill me away. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right. Let me pull this up here. Okay, so you should actually be seeing my slide now on your screen. And again, this is going to be a pretty quick slide and just an overview about BidExecs and about the new, as far as it as a new concept. Although, yes, it is a new concept, but it's in a field which has been around since the dawn of time, which is in contracting. A lot of times people want to know, well, why BidExecs? Well, number one, government contracting is the largest economic sector across the country. It's not talked about a lot, but it is the largest economic sector across the country. Government contracting is also one of the largest job creators across the country. You also have, like I mentioned earlier, the state, local, and educational, or SLED. It is a very attractive sub-market. It also impacts, of course, in 2020, where we were having this pandemic, even now, we actually grew quite a bit, especially when it comes from the healthcare system, all the PPE. How was this PPE going to be acquisitioned? How was it going to be procured? Well, all of this falls into our, if you want to call it niche or marketplace, which is business development and proposal solutions. It also feeds over into your grants. And we do a lot of work with construction companies, your general contractors, your subcontractors, and of course, large corporations. At the end of the day, everyone needs that written proposal. So we do it from the business development piece all the way over to the proposal solutions and the capturing of those dollars. Bottom line, our why, when it comes to BidExecs, it is for, as far as why are we franchising? It is for growth and expansion as a company. And it's also for the opportunities for our employees, our franchisees, and for our clients. And I have a bullet point down here that says, you know, building within local communities. Now, our parent company is based in Herndon, Virginia. We are doing business across the continental US, but we're also doing business in other countries, that's Dubai or Israel, India, Turkey. We are doing business also in Canada and also in Latin America. Our, again, bullet point of growth and expansion as a company is that we want to prove a point that we can have franchisees actually create a business and grow their business from a local standpoint of building their local communities. So instead of us continuously growing these jobs and opportunities in Herndon, Virginia, we say, hey, let's grow them across the country with franchisees within our base. And again, I come back to that whole piece. I want to see and to continue to push, and it's that knowledge piece. And I find for the Latino Symposium is that, hey, if you don't know about it, then how are you going to ever learn about it? So that is another reason why I'm so grateful about being a part of the Latino Symposium, is to get the knowledge out there to your constituents that, hey, there is opportunities in the field of contracting. What it is that we offer, number one, we offer defined, documented, and proven system that support our clientele, that it is processes, it is technology, and it is people. We are certified, and this is when you get into the contracting world, we are certified in ISO 9001, which is the quality management system, and we are also certified in ISO 27001, which is information security management systems. And as everyone is aware, you know, the pipelines and everything been I guess hacked at the end of the day with what's on with our fuel pipelines. Well, I don't know if they were IS management ISO 27001 certified or not, but we are. So our clientele base knows that we have some of the toughest and tightest certified security and technology in our technology than what you can find. This is part of the umbrella that our franchisees also receive, becoming a part of our franchise system, is that they will also receive those certifications. We're organized as far as BidExecs corporate. We are, or our parent company is Proposal Helper, which is the reach back. And under BidExecs, we have two areas in which you could become a franchisee of our system. You have our area directors, and we have our business or our growth services franchisees. That is the business development track or the proposal solutions. I'm going to talk about the GSFs, the business development and proposal solutions track, for basically for time. And if anyone wants to know more, definitely reach out to me and we can go in depth. Our growth services franchisees are those entrepreneurs that are interested in delivering services to the end customers. They're also interested in delivering business development and strategy support and proposal support solutions. They normally have experience in procurement, contracting, or government contracting. And within our system, our franchisees keep what they earn with minimal revenue-based royalty payments. What it is that they receive is our business development and capture. As far as from us, they receive their lead research and identification and support. It is intuitive. And let me say that as far as our CRM or our systems are also have artificial intelligence embedded in them, along with actual people, which is our researchers. We have specific guidance on what to do next. We work as a team, not as individuals. Our franchisees have 8 to 5 access to senior business development experts. We also connect them with a network of contacts. Our proposal management track is a capture and handoff through proposal submissions, through contract award. It's defined, repeatable, consistent. Again, we work as a team, not as individuals, and we have 24/7 teamwork to meet deadlines. Our technology, at the end of the day, we are in some ways big time in our technology company because that's what's driving a lot of our growth. Our technology is BidConnect, BidHub, and Proposal Solutions. Under our BidQuote, it is consistent pricing. Our BidConnect is our project tracking, our project tracking and progress tracking, and it is tied over into our invoicing. Our team performance is our bid development and capture track, which is our BidHub. We have research team embedded inside of our BD and capture track. And when it comes to our proposal solutions, we have everything from a shared file, Microsoft SharePoint, Smart Sheets, Teams. It is all as far as updated and also managed by our corporate headquarters. So our franchisees are not wasting their time trying to keep as far as data updated and things of that nature. We are currently, as far as the support for our franchisees, is currently we have 70 employees company-wide that are dedicated to proposal. So we have a dedicated proposal team supporting every client. We have expert practitioners and ready to become trainers for our franchisees. We also have expert practitioners that are ready to oversee and monitor and implementation of our brand requirements. So from day one, our franchisees will feel part of the larger team, not just a solopreneur. And this is just a quick behind the scenes look of the structure. And we are solid and fully staffed organization with 70+ employees, and we are rapidly expanding. What it is that, those that are looking at this as a field to be an entrepreneur in is that what you can expect from us is that we do full training, in person, online, on demand. We also do the update and continuous training for all of our franchisees. We have full access cloud-based technology, the tools, and we actually keep the upkeep on those as corporate maintains that. We also do the marketing and branding from a national and local levels. Our sales, our CRM system, we actually provide those as territory leads to our franchisees of opportunities that are out there in the marketplace. We also do the assistance with pitching and closing of the sales. A big piece that I think is the most important is that we have that back office support. So we have the assistance with quotes and contracts, assistance with accounting and invoicing. We also have assistance with hiring and HR policies. Now, that's going to be on a limited basis because once you start your franchise with us, those employees that you're hiring, they're actually going to be your employees. So there is that franchisee-franchisor relationship in which we have to be strictly limited as far as in those that you decide to hire. Now, I think another big important part is assistance with access to capital, which we say it is limited, but we want you to know that we are SBA approved and we are listed S6462. So we are, again, SBA approved, which is another big plus. And what it is that we're expecting is we're looking for entrepreneurs who want to grow and expand their business. Especially in the business development and proposal solutions world, in the contracting world, that are invested and connected in their local communities, willing to be an ideal brand ambassador, service clients with top-notch quality solutions, and take leadership roles in their local business community, i.e. being the chambers of commerce, the MDAs, the PTACs, things of that nature. Also help pull up the entire brand community, do not tarnish, and feed ideas that help improve our brand offerings for all, for those, the clients, the franchisees, and again, our overall system. And the other reason why BidExecs is that you'll always know that you're in business for yourself, but never by yourself. So I know that was quite a bit to pretty much, I guess, get out there. And I know now, hopefully, Jorge, that now you can grill me, sir.
Well, Ed, thank you. No, I think it was great because you gave us a very good, 360 degrees vision on what to expect from each part, what are the roles. And, one of the things that I think your idea is really effective in when we go to analyze, and you started talking about data and making decisions for opening businesses, for hiring, for everything, you needed the data. But when you started talking about that, we know that most of the Latino franchisees are in a category that we can say services, food industry, hospitality, maybe retail. But we have fewer Latino or Hispanic operators or investors venturing in categories outside these very traditional franchise, if you will, categories. So I'm glad that your brand and your company is looking to diversify, because in this sense they're franchisees, because that can help them to get out of that area. And when I say get out of that area, I'm not trying to imply that it's a wrong area. No, it's fine. It's great. I mean, we Latinos are fabulous in serving guests and hosting people and do that. But I remember then in previous events like these, many of the banks, including the SBA, when they talk to about the access to capital, when they talk to how to grant a loan to you, this kind of business in the services and the food industry and all that, sometimes they don't have the right assets, right? They don't have all they have is inventory, but they don't have a formula, they don't have a patent down there, they don't have a facility. And I think different categories may have one that could be interesting. Now, before I have 3 questions here that are arriving little by little, but before going to those very quick questions, I have a question myself.
Yes, sir.
So we all know that getting contracts and bidding for a contract, either for a large federal government contract or for a very, very local county, maybe city, little contract, all of those require relationships, and all of those require that emotion and intelligence from the one who is trying to bid to get that contract, the relationships that person builds, and the reputation that they have, and all that. And I see that BidExecs is an effort that has been trying to extrapolate the right way of bidding, either online or in person, for getting those contracts. And I was going to ask you, but you define it. What is the personality that your ideal franchisees need to have in order to work in this other side of being, a person that manages well the PR and is good in interacting with people and all that? I don't know if I made myself clear on the question.
Well, let me see if I can answer what I think you're asking the question. Number one, as far as we see that it's from a local community standpoint, it is best that our franchisees are representative of that marketplace. When it comes to doing business, I know that we are more effective when the actual, as far as whether it's the business development or it's the proposal solutions individual is, say, in Houston or right here in Dallas. We know it is much more effective when that communications and that relationship is local. We also know that also, as far as grows jobs within that local community. And when you look across the country, again, when we first ventured into this whole idea of franchising BidExecs or the proposal helpers, the parent company, it's like, okay, if we're going to continue to grow, what is the next step? And it really came down to, we need to have it vetted. Let's vet our FDD. Let's vet our system, which we did that piece. Is this something that can be SBA as far as approved? We've done that piece. Capital. Is capital going to be a restrictive to accessing this franchise system? So no, it is not. We also looked at the fact that we are now in a new, as far as when we start saying, okay, how we meet and everything. So we are highly adaptable when it comes to mobility, when it comes to, as far as meeting on the platforms and as far as on the technology piece. So, you know, again, even as a company, we grew during the pandemic and we're continuing to grow. The other part on that is that whether the federal government is spending, you know, these trillions of dollars, somewhere in that whole process, there is that needed proposal being written before those dollars actually, you know, end in somebody's bank account. Again, I'm a proponent that more of those dollars, you know, end in our bank accounts within, the Black and brown community. So I'm not bashful about that. And again, now when it comes to our franchisees, we want our franchisees to not just say, hey, this is something I want to go and do, but we're going to vet our franchisees in that, you know, is your background in procurement? Is, you know, if you have a company within, how are you going to reach out and get those contracts as far as, you know, government contracts? What is your process? If you do not have a process, well, let me introduce you to one of our franchisees that will carry you through that entire cycle. And why don't we start getting more of those contracts within our community? Let's keep those dollars in our community. I guess hopefully I'm answering your question.
Yeah.
But you know, again, we are the first, and I kind of say that we're like the McDonald's, you know, that was the first in the burger to say, hey, we're going to go out here and franchise. We are the first, i.e. being BidExecs, and we have a lot of folks that are looking at us. And the reason why they're looking at us is because they're like, hey, you know what? They're really onto something here. We're onto it because we are now attracting those that are in, well, some of the folks that we're currently talking with are in Canada. They are also in Israel. They are also in the UAE I'm getting more requests to establish this business in other countries, you know, as well as here in the US. And my whole thing is I want to also make sure that this opportunity is presented within the Latino marketplace, that, hey, here is an opportunity, whether you're going to be doing this business to business from companies and that are, whether they're in Latin America that is trying to do business here in the US, I want to see those franchisees that are doing that business look like you and I, okay? Bottom line, okay? And so I'm not gonna be bashful about that. I think it's not only the right thing to do, but the data that I have learned from over the past 20 years also proves that out. So when I'm talking about data, I'm talking about what is the ROI? It's the data that proves that out. As far as if I have a franchisee that does not have that relationship within those communities, how is it going to bear it out versus me having a franchisee that does have those relationships and those ties to that specific community? And I believe that we should, you know, I don't ask for a handout. I'm not looking for handouts. And that's why I focus on, Jorge, you already know this, I focus on veterans. I am a Marine Corps veteran. So everyone knows, yes, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I also focus on women, women getting an opportunity to own their businesses. And I also focus on the Black and brown community. Now, as the vice president of our company, yes, I have the whole pie as far as, but I know that there are marketplaces that I don't have to do the recruiting and getting that information out there into those communities because they already know about it. And I'm not mad at them. I will get mad at myself or if as a company, we don't take the lead on getting out in front and being a part of like the Latino Franchise Symposium, getting our message out there of the opportunity. From there, it's just being constant. We've got to be consistent and constant with delivering the message that, hey, here's an opportunity. This is what we offer. Is there, a meeting grounds in which we could grow business together? And then let's just look at the, the statistics and the data. Where is the country going? Okay, I'm a big fan of James Fripp. It's the data. Okay, at the end of the day, we look at the data, and so if we follow the data, then all the data leads us to saying we have got to make it a point to make access to our systems as readily available and also accessible within all communities. But we need to definitely reach out and engage into the Latino community.
Now, I have a question very quick before jumping to 3 or 4 questions that we have already. But do you have data about the percentage of Latinos participating in getting contracts as potential suppliers, or not really?
Now, I would say the data that this is 2 different pieces of data that we're talking about here. If we're talking about Latino companies, they pretty much, yes, that would be doing as far as submission for contracts. A lot of times those smaller companies or mid-range companies have, whether it's a business developer inside of their company. Mm-hmm. Again, this is where our services actually augment and complement their services. As far as those that are in this, if you call it, again, I call it the niche marketplace, the Latino community that I'm really meeting are those that are former military, that are in contract management, and they just so happen to also have been in the military. Yeah. And so then, of course, we start saying, well, what does that number look like from a data standpoint? And I just know that, hey, it just becomes a matter, so no, I do not have data that shows how many, as far as contracts are being received within the Hispanic or the Latino community, but I know it's way underserved. And a lot of times it's just because of lack of knowledge about how to, and where is those tools at? And okay. That's where we come in at. Okay.
So a few questions from people interested. When you made your presentation, you talked about territory leads. Yes. They asking if they become franchisees, they will get a package of leads in their territory in their Absolutely. Area, so they can start with that. And what kind of leads are those?
Those leads are, if you go to BidExecs, BidExecs franchising or BidExecs.com, you will find that we have a series of webinars. And most of those webinars are like either with the Department of the Navy or with the DOT, with Health and Human Services, which we call it IDIQ Mondays. There was one that just came out for $560 million with the NIH. So those leads are being created or being generated from our activities as a company, both on the BidExecs and Proposal Helpers, where we are actually holding as far as webinars, seminars, and we're talking and discussing these opportunities that are coming up. Now, these companies are coming directly to us. They're inquiring to us. And when it comes to our franchisees, if you're in Houston, Texas, which I have a couple of franchisees in Houston, Texas, anything that's coming into our corporate headquarters in Herndon, Virginia, where they're requesting as far as help or inquiry, we are then sending that lead over to our franchisee in that marketplace.
Okay.
So instead of us saying, no, we're going to do it from Herndon, we say, no, here you are, franchisee. Do you wish to take the lead on this opportunity?
And I guess that links into another comment that is telling us that there's a lot of corporations, especially in the Fortune 500, that have in place suppliers diversity development programs. Do you know anything about those, and does these BidExecs facilitate that?
Yes, we do. Within our CRM system, let's just say I'm working with someone and maybe their profile, let's just say that company, their profile is that, you know, they're not quite at that lead contractor, but possibly those subcontracts that are out there. We will match them up with those companies in order to say, get their foot in the door. And it's not just as an 8A program. We're talking about getting your foot in the door to build your own portfolio in order to become a prime contractor versus a subcontractor. So yes, our systems again are AI and also have actual researchers that, you know, position those companies to actually get those awards. Now, I know that in the marketplace, when you start talking about contracting, it's running like 18 to 22% success rate. We are at 33%. So again,
high. So,
you know, if you kind of relate that out to baseball, we're batting a lot higher than other organizations.
Now, I have a question regarding the investment for the franchise, and I don't want to throw you under the bus with figures that you don't want to disclose, but if you would say it's a high level compared to opening a restaurant or opening a medium.
No, because number one, day one, we're not brick and mortar. So, you know, eventually, yes, we want you to eventually open an office, but initially, no, we want you to have more or less a Regis, okay, as an office space. So minimal investment. We are highly technology based. So your primary, if you want to say cost, is going to be, you know, a high-end laptop, you know, high-end broadband. But initially, you're going to start out as yourself, and as you grow your business, because initially, you may ask us to do a lot of your back office piece. Our hopes is that over time, you will add on, say, a technical writer, and pretty much do a repeat of what I showed you earlier of our corporate headquarters. Eventually, that's what we foresee our franchisees as having, is their entire system built. And again, the biggest piece that they're receiving from us is that IT, that technology, the umbrella of those certifications. That's pretty much, so what does that dollar look like? That we're talking about, our franchise fee is $25,000. Okay, that's the ticket to the dance. That $25,000 includes your training, okay? Which is $5,500 is training and $19,500 is the franchise fee. Of course, if you're a veteran, then of course I'm going to discount that by 20%. So we do a veterans discount. At the end of the day, up and operating, you're looking on like at 40 to 45. And that is, again, you know, unless you already have your computers and things of that nature, but you're looking between 40 to 45 and you're up and operating. And what we want you to do is to start generating revenue within 90 to 180 days. And then you start adding on as far as staff.
All right.
Okay.
We're getting closer to having to wrap up at
yes, sir.
45, but we have a couple of minutes. And what I see, Ed, from BidExecs opportunity is that it is a great opportunity at a very accessible cost to become, I mean, all the entrepreneurial minds out there listening to us, and many of them are in the Latino Hispanic community. This is a great way to start your business, your own consulting, or your own advisory, if you will, or working business without having to invest a lot. But that brings you the opportunity and the path to grow and become a large, negotiator and a large contractor, facilitator, and I mean, that's a great opportunity. So I think that for those that always have thought about when you listen the franchising word, and you imagine immediately 7-Eleven or a Pizza Hut or something like that, maybe you need to also think in this kind of opportunity. So if you want to just help us to wrap up on just a few comments before we...
Absolutely. Well, again, I want to say, thank you all again for having me and having BidExecs as a part of the panel, part of the discussion. And I want to emphasize again what you were just saying, is that we have got to expand our thought process beyond just the service. When you start talking about, nothing. I love my time I spent with 7-Eleven. I think it was some of the best years of my life. Yet at the same time, I am so grateful to be doing what I'm doing now and seeing a whole nother sector, which is really, I didn't know that this was the, one of the largest sectors as far as when you start talking about opportunity, when you start talking about economics, when you start talking about, gosh, the whole job sector. This has been one of the most blessed times of my life, especially when it comes to franchising. And I've been extremely grateful and blessed that I got this opportunity with BidExecs. My CEO is, of course, female. Okay, so again, we are 90% when we say veterans. We are either former veterans or spouses of veterans. Our CEO has had over 30 years in Rena Bhatia. She's had over 30 years of government contracting for the federal government. But she started our parent company 12 years ago, and we said, hey, we want to franchise this thing. And I'm just so lucky that she selected me to take the lead on that and franchising out our system.
Great.
So
well, we wish you luck in expanding into this segment of the market. I know you will have it because you have been very successful in previous ventures and previous
Absolutely.
enterprises. So and if there's anything else we can do to help you to get this better known by the Hispanic business community, we will be happy to do that. But in the meantime, I think this is a great opportunity for people interested in partnering with a good know-how intelligence firm that can help you to grow a business that can start with your own. And well, thank you, Ed. Thank you for your time. I offer anyone who is interested to contact Ed James. We can send later. We will send later an email to all of the participants and all of the panelists, so they can put themselves in contact with each other and exchange some business cards or just
Absolutely.
few words. And I just want to invite the people that are looking and viewing this streaming that in 15 minutes from now at 1 p.m. we will have a very interesting panel live with big brands of Yum brands, KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. And that will be a very interesting presentation. But in the meantime, James, thank you very much for participating, and I will look forward to see you soon.
Thank you, Jorge.
And we'll see each other in 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Hi, Tara. Can you hear me? Oh,
Oh, hello. I could hear you.
okay, good. I wanted to make sure that you could hear me. Hi, James.
Hey, how are you?
Good, and you?
Can't complain. Tara, how are you?
You know, all is good. I'm still in my bedroom, but other than that, it's all good.
We'll hang in there.
Well, my office is an alcove off of,
Okay, I was gonna say, because it looks like a beautiful office.
yeah, I mean, my bed is over there. So it's,
Hi, Sophie.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Tara, nice to meet you. Ericka, great to see you. James, thank you again for coming back.
Of course, of course. Oh man, wouldn't have it any other way. And
How's the conference central, or how's the video central fun?
Ericka, I think you need to get closer to your microphone because we hear you with a little echo or something.
Ooh, that's the best I can do.
Okay, yeah, that's better, much better.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Yeah, excellent.
yeah, excellent. All
So
right.
we're just waiting for, I guess we're just waiting for Diane.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep, absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent. So I see James is in his office, right?
Yes.
Your beautiful corner office, right?
Hey, you know, that's the one they gave me. So that's the one I took. So
That's fine. I mean, I would never say no to an office like that. I have a
oh,
window, though. It's not a corner one, but it's a window that
hey,
looks
as long
into
as
the freeway. So I'm happy. I cannot
there you
complain.
go. You can see. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
good stuff. That's good stuff. So, so nobody can hear us at this point in time. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so, Tara and Ericka, we'll do is Jorge's going to intro us, and then I'm going to ask Isabella to share the Yum video. And so she'll share the Yum video, which is just a broader overview of us as an organization and who we are and all those kinds of things. Hey, there's Diane. All right. Where's she at here? Oh, where's my? There she is. Hi, how are you?
Hi, James. How are you?
What, I'm doing well. Welcome back from vacation.
I wouldn't call it vacation. I was moving.
Oh, that's not vacation. Okay, my bad. That's definitely not vacation. Okay, well then just welcome back.
I'm glad to be back.
I was gonna say it's probably better that way, right?
Yes, yes.
Golly. All right. I was just telling the two, telling Tara and Ericka that Jorge will intro us. We'll show a Yum video, and then we'll do a quick intro of each of you, and then Diane, we're coming back to you, and so we'll go KFC, Taco Bell, and then we'll do the Habit Burger Grill video, and then we'll get to Ericka. Okay.
Excellent.
So when we start with me, we're just going to do I just introduce who I am and then kick it over to Ericka.
That'll be great.
Perfect.
Okay? Yeah, we'll
Right.
just do a few quick intros and then go from there. All right.
Okay, so we're ready to go. And it's 101 and 3, 2. And hello, everybody. This is Jorge Ferraez, publisher of Latino Leaders magazine and host of the Latino Franchise Symposium, along with my great team here in Latino Leaders. We have been enjoying a wonderful lineup of speakers and panelists this week. And this is our third day of this symposium that we've been organizing for 7 years now. And it's been a very interesting collection of events with different topics and different conferences and different themes, all of them directed to promote and to incite people to start their own business and become franchisees and explore the opportunities that this market has to bring, especially to diverse communities and minority communities like the Latino one, that has a lot of potential and a lot of unexplored opportunities still out there for everybody to take. And precisely, and with these, in this sense, I have the privilege of having the support and the partnership of a great company, a company that has that kind of spirit that is always open and welcoming to diversity and minorities, and that has been a very strong point for their business. But also they are doing things differently, and I think they are doing things in a way in which people enjoy and working with them, and there's a great opportunities to grow and to work here. And we have a fantastic lineup of speakers for this panel. And I want to say thank you to all of you for being here today, to the Yum Brands team. And I just want to say that we have Tara Hinkle, Director of Franchising and Development for Taco Bell Corporations. Welcome, Tara. We have Diane Simrall, Director of Finance for KFC. Thank you and welcome, Diane. And we also have a very, very good friend and Ericka Garza, who is the Director of Growth, Traditional and Non-Traditional for Pizza Hut. Thank you, Ericka, for joining us and moderating this is no other than the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer of Yum Brands, our good friend and partner, James Fripp. James, please, welcome.
Great, thank you, Jorge, and thank you for having us be a part of this this particular session. You know, we're very focused on making sure that we add some more diverse franchisees to our organization, and we've got this fantastic group of leaders that I have the honor and pleasure of working with on a day-to-day basis, and indeed having the honor of moderating this panel with this great team today. And so what I'll do is, I know you gave their names and kind of their levels. What I'd like to do is just go back around and ask each of them to just share a little bit more about themselves and their role. And what we'll do is we'll go Diane, Tara, and then Ericka. So Diane, back to you.
Thanks, James, and thanks everybody for having me. So my name's Diane Simrall. I'm in charge of franchise growth strategy for KFC US. My team is in charge of helping franchisees grow, improving their four-wall economics, and then also franchise recruiting. So we, like James said, are very interested in continuing to increase our diversity within our franchisees and look forward to working with you all. And with that, I will turn it over to Tara.
Hi, everyone. Tara Hinkle here from Taco Bell, North America. So similar role to Diane, but slightly different. I lead franchise recruiting for both the US and Canada. I also lead non-traditional development, and I oversee the Canadian business unit as a whole. So I'm really excited to be here today. We are always looking for new franchisees to enter our system. And as you'll see, we're all excited to talk about the brands that we work with. So over to you, Ericka.
Thanks. Jorge, thanks again for having us. It's always a pleasure to be part of the symposium. And James, always great to have you as a moderator, and super excited to be with my peers from KFC and Taco Bell and the Habit Burger as well. My name is Ericka Garza. I lead franchise recruiting for Pizza Hut US for the traditional, non-traditional side of the business. Our team is responsible for building our sales pipeline and also overseeing the sales process for new franchisees and licensees to enter the system, as well as overseeing 6,500 plus stores for our system. So thank you again for having us.
Fantastic. All right. So with that start, we'll go ahead and get into some questions. What we wanted to do for you today is we wanted to just really get into some of the meat around what it takes to become a franchisee within Yum Brands, and with this group of leaders who does this work on a day-to-day basis, really be able to give you some insights and some learnings and some watch outs and just some really good information in terms around, what does it take? What do I need? What have you seen work in those kinds of things? And so if it's okay with you, Jorge, and the broader group, we're going to go ahead and get started. And we'd also like to offer you the opportunity to and encourage you to ask any questions that you have, because our goal in being here today is to share the insights that we have, but to also answer any questions that you have. And if there's anything that comes up that we don't have the answer right now, or something that would be much more in depth, then we'll make sure we set up a time to speak with you offline. Okay, so so with that being said, let's start in a little bit of a reverse order here. So so Ericka, if you could start with, what are some of Pizza Hut's brand requirements, and how does an interested buyer gain access to those brand requirements that you all have?
Yeah, so I'll start off with gaining access and knowledge of how to enter our brand. So at Pizza Hut, and I would probably say Taco Bell and KFC, we are pretty fortunate that we all work very well together. So when we've got leads that either come in through our website, or we've got leads that come in from a broker, or in some cases from the Yum office or yourself, James, or even our own existing franchisees, they start off with us, right? So they start off with the franchise recruitment department. So we are the team that are the entry point in terms of vetting, collecting information, understanding his or her experience in operations, the passion for the brand, the existing portfolio of different brands that they are a part of, their net worth, but most importantly, their culture and their community commitment. So we do have a pretty, we've got a pretty special lens when it comes to identifying and recruiting franchisees to enter our brand. So, you know, to kind of list out the things that I just described, those are pretty important for us. So we identify that and look for that and make sure that they meet, you know, a lot of our values to become franchisees within our system. But I also have to say that in addition to everything I just described, the important, you know, one of the most important things that we look for is obviously the operations experience. If the potential franchisee, he or she does not have the operations experience, or perhaps does have the operations experience, but will not be dedicated as a full-time person to the business because he or she has different businesses in their portfolio, we do require for that franchisee to come to the table with an experienced operator that will have equity in the business and that will solely concentrate on the Pizza Hut business as well.
Great, great. Thank you for that. And Tara, is there anything that that Taco Bell requires different than what Ericka said? And, you know, because Taco Bell, you know, has its own different vibe. So is there anything different that Taco Bell would require?
Indeed, Taco Bell has a vibe. So I'd say building on what Ericka said, it's quite similar. How about if I take it one level deeper and just state, we have a franchise application process, again, online. We complete background checks on all franchisees that are, or franchisee applicants that are interested in pursuing the process. We not only does the franchise recruiting team talk to the proposed operator, but our field operations team that they would partner with speaks with them. And finally, like the whole franchise recruiting process really is viewed as such a critical function. It's so important that our executive team meets with applicants that move through that process to make sure that everyone feels like it's a good fit and that cultural fit that Ericka mentioned. Another thing that I would say is part of the process for Taco Bell that may differ from the other brands, depending on the geography we're speaking about, but the typical point of entry into the Taco Bell system is through acquisition of existing restaurants. So we don't have any broad swaths of green space geography in the US. Canada may be a different story. In the US, we don't have that. So typically the path to entry is through acquiring existing restaurants from another franchisee and then growing from there. So just to add a little more color to the
Fantastic.
Wonderful information Ericka shared. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And then Diane, anything to add as far as anything that from a KFC perspective? Because KFC has its own vibe, especially with its now big chicken sandwich and all those kinds of things. So it's got its own vibe and things going on, but anything different in terms of requirements?
I wouldn't say that they're different. I think that all of us have liquidity and net worth. They are a little bit different for some of the brands. So making sure that we understand what, if you're coming into a KFC or a Pizza Hut or a Taco Bell, that you know what those are. I will say that we are really also looking for franchisees that are committed to growth. So we don't want you to come in and just stop with what you acquire. We also want you to be building stores as well. So, but yes, I echo both what Ericka and Tara said, that we're looking for committed and franchisees and a culture fit.
Fantastic. And so you talk about this notion of being, I jotted down, committed to growth. So across all of the divisions, all of the three of yours, and then in our new brand called the Habit Burger Grill, but in your brands, do you sell like one restaurant to anybody? Tara, did you sell anything? Diane, do you sell one? Ericka, do you guys just sell one restaurant, or how does it work? And we'll stay with you, Diane, while you're there.
No, it's a great question. So KFC is slightly different than some of our sister brands. We still have a highly fragmented KFC franchisee base. So we still have a lot of franchisees that own 1 to 2 stores. So typically what you'll see to enter into the KFC system, you buy typically 1 to 5 stores. And then, but what we know and what we want for our franchisees is for them to have a base of stores. And so when I talk about committed to growth, we don't want you to come in with just 1 to 3. We want you to continue to grow, and that that happens through continued acquisition and continued new builds. But to James' point, we don't personally sell restaurants anymore. I think that might, James, be some of what you were asking. Our refranchising is done. So all of these transactions are franchisee to franchisee transactions.
All right, that's a great call out. That's a really great call out. So when folks connect with us and are looking for, this, what do we do? If James Fripp were to call you, Diane, and say, hey, look, I'm really, really interested in doing this, or was to go out on the website and say, hey, look, I'd really want to franchise, look at a franchise for KFC, what happens to me then? Do I stay with you? Do you all connect me with people? How does that work?
No, great question. We start you through what we would call a pre-approval process. So making sure that you qualify financially, that you have the right experience, or you're hiring the right operator to operate your stores, making sure that you're the right fit for both us and you. And then once we go and we've identified that, yes, we pre-approve you, you are a good fit. What we do is there's two ways you can do it, especially in the KFC system. We can introduce you to brokers where individuals go to sell and list their restaurants. And then also we can make introductions with franchisees that have indicated to us that they are willing to sell and want to entertain buyers. So we do it both ways at KFC.
Right. All right. So then Tara, let me come to you then with this. Do you all sell like one restaurant? And how are you similar or different than our KFC brand?
Great question. So I guess one thing that differentiates Taco Bell from the other brands is that we still do own a fair number of restaurants. So we have around 400 equity company-owned restaurants. We're not actively refranchising, but as we grow and develop more restaurants, we have a little bit of wiggle room to refranchise here or there. So I wouldn't rule that out, but as a general rule, we follow the same process that Diane described in introducing folks once pre-approved to the three primary brokers that are engaged in most of the transactions, the sales of Taco Bell restaurants. And I would say another way we differ from what Diane described for KFC is Taco Bell, we have some of those 1, 2, 3 unit operators in the system today, but that's more the exception than the rule. And in fact, our general rule of thumb, we love for folks to enter the system with no fewer than 5 restaurants. And ideally, there seems to be a bit of a sweet spot at that 8 to 10 restaurants as an entry point. And the reason there really is so the scale of an operation can justify having above restaurant operations leaders and other leaders to help run the business with maximum efficiency and profitability, quite frankly.
Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you for that. And then Ericka, same question. I mean, from a pizza perspective, do you guys sell like one at a time, or you sell in numbers, and what does that look like?
So for Pizza Hut historically, keep in mind, we have 102 franchisees. However, 102 franchisees not only have quite a bit of tenure within the brand, but their average volume of units are between 35 to 40 that they own. So our franchisees, when they have expressed an interest to exit the business, they typically sell obviously in scale. So that's why I think in terms of Pizza Hut, we've been able to attract the larger multi-unit franchisees because they're looking for that scale. They're not afraid of coming into a turnaround market or something that's going to require quite a bit of CapEx. So with that being said, historically, no, we have not done 1 or 2 units. However, in Pizza Hut, I think what might be different amongst the other brands is that we do have greenfield opportunities today. So therefore, as we are reshifting not only our mindset, what the business model is going to look like, but it's also carving opportunities, right, for underrepresented people of color and women. So as a company, we have, and working in conjunction with the Yum team too, as well, with these greenfield opportunities, is how do we change the current landscape? How do we change the business model? And how do we provide these opportunities for maybe 2 to 3, or maybe 2 to 3 to 4 units which will be very different from what we currently have. So I do foresee that in the near future, where we will provide opportunities, especially to develop. But back to Diane's point, given that you come in with 2 or 3 stores, the intention, obviously with help from the brand, is that you do have a growth mindset. It's going to be our job to equip you for success, to be able to get you to add on to more to what you currently came in with.
Very good. All right. So so for our audience, hopefully you're hearing where we have similarities and where we have some differences in our brands in terms of what we're looking to accomplish. Ericka just talked about having some green space where we could be selling or building out some more and then selling some new builds and things of that nature. Tara's, maybe not as many as some. We've got about 400 or so equity stores, but really looking for those kind of largers. What did you say the sweet spot is at? 8 to 10 is my notes that I wrote down there. And then when we talk about Diane and the work that they've got going on there, just really continuing to look at this franchise to franchise model, but with us, putting you through the certification process on the front end to make sure that we have a match. So you can see some of the differences there between the brands. What I'll do just from a personal perspective is I'll interject a little bit as it pertains to our new brand, Habit Burger Grill. Now, Habit Burger Grill, where we have many, many thousands of Taco Bells and Pizza Huts and KFCs, Habit Burger Grill, we're about 300. 300 with the majority of those on the West Coast and then some on the East Coast, and we have a small spattering in our international markets. But Habit Burger Grill has a lot of green space. I think, in fact, the green space is called the whole United States. So, over time, we're going to be building that brand out, and so it's a great opportunity. And a lot of the financial requirements are very much the same for our Habit Burger Grill business as it is for our other brands, with some nuances. But we'll be showing you a video regarding the Habit Burger Grill here in just a few minutes, so you get some idea of who they are, what they do, and what they look like. But I didn't want to leave them out of the conversation as we go forward. So,
hey, James,
yes.
can I jump in and just add, just to give a degree of specificity on the financial requirements in case folks are interested. So for Taco Bell, and again, I think it's similar with the other brands, it might be slightly different, but we do, part of the financial qualification at the upfront in the pre-approval process we talked about involves ensuring that applicants have $1.5 million of net worth and then $750,000 of personal liquid assets. So that would exclude kind of retirement accounts. And the net worth requirement is excluding business interest in a franchising opportunity. So just to kind of give people a ballpark there, I think it's also worth noting, quite frankly, across the sister brands, the price tags that we're seeing in the marketplace when restaurants are sold, they vary significantly. And a lot of that depends on the geography, the type of store, the penetration in the market, et cetera, et cetera.
Great, thank you for that. A lot of variables there, and our Taco Bell brand has been, how you want to say, en fuego, fire for the last many years, and that's really caused the multiples of the brand or the cost of the restaurants to really skyrocket. And so now what that tells you is the brand is strong and the brand is dependable, and why it's done what it's done. And so and over this last year, to be brutally honest with you, all of our brands, even in the context of being in a pandemic, all of our brands have really thrived, and we're very proud of that. In my comments earlier this week, I talked about this notion of when the economy's good, we as an organization are good. When the economy's bad, we're better. And that's actually played out for us. We were there. We were there for our customers. We were there for our employees to keep them employed during this time, to keep money flowing into their homes, and kept our customers who, as you know, everyone was locked up, but people they craved something different. They craved getting out, even if it's just to go through our drive-through or to come to their porch and receive our pizza that's delivered on their porch in a contactless fashion. They really looked for that comfort of our KFC chicken. And to be honest with you, I was probably in line as much as anybody. So, so I say all that to say, when you think about our brands and our business and the viability and the stability and what our brands can offer, we really, really feel good about what our brands bring to the table. So, so thank you for that, Tara. Really, really great point around what really does it take for me to get to even think about getting into this space. So great clarity there. Now, this next question, is there like, do the brands have a different buyer requirements for the franchisee of record and the key operator? I mean, is there any difference, or do you need to have the same? I mean, I'll open it up to any of you who want to take that question.
I can jump in and just say for Taco Bell, I think one difference maybe, Diane, I think you mentioned that you require equity ownership by the key operator. Taco Bell at this point does not have that as a firm requirement, though I think it's a smart thing to have. And I think it fares well when someone's presenting a business plan. You want long-term vested interest of your key operator in your business. So I think it's a good idea. I would also say for the franchisee of record, we require a minimum of 10% ownership in the business. That may differ across the brands, so I'll let the other ladies respond to that. But what I mean there in terms of the ownership percentages, if it's a group of folks coming in as owners, there is one person that's named that primary franchisee of record. And that's our requirement in terms of, and the financial requirements that I mentioned earlier, James, too, that's a collective requirement. So let's say you have 5 investors entering collectively, they need to have the $1.5 million of personal net worth and $750,000 liquidity.
Of that. Thank you for the clarity, because I was struggling because I don't have that in my pocket today. I was like, you know, the 1.5 million, I'm like, I don't have that. But if I could garner a group together, I don't know, maybe it's the 4 of us, you know, maybe we strike out and see if we can't start a little something. So, but thank you for that.
Yeah.
Ericka, Diane, any other thoughts or any adds around this notion of different requirements for the, you know, the owner of record versus the key operator?
So the owner of record is very similar to Taco Bell. The difference is we do require our franchisees to provide equity to our key operators. So that is something that is really important. And what's really great is that our franchisees completely appreciate and understand that part of it and are willing and able to do it. So that's, yeah, very similar.
Okay, Diane, any differences or any?
I would say that a lot of times we see them be one and the same. And what that a lot of times means is that if you are new to KFC, that you will have to, and I think this is across the sister brands, you will be required to complete training. And for us, that typically looks like 12 weeks of training, in-store training. And so that you as the franchisee are also, what we see typically, most of the time, our franchisees are the key operator.
Fantastic.
That's a great build, Diane. And the same thing goes for training at Taco Bell. It may not be quite as lengthy, but before anyone can sign franchise documents, the key operator has to have completed full training. And sometimes it's the same person as the franchisee of record, and sometimes it isn't. But there, we also require that franchisees of record go through a certain degree of training as well.
Okay, so there's no such thing as because I have the money, I get to just put the money down and you know, go on about my business and the thing gets open. I have to be involved actively and engaged to make sure that we trust that.
Yeah, and again, I think that comes back to the long-term vested interest in the brand and in the culture fit and really achieving what we want to achieve. Yes, it's a business, but it's a people business. Just as much as being a food business. So we want to make sure that everyone's kind of operating with the same understanding of the business and the long-term objectives.
Fantastic. And to that end, Ericka, can I just ask you to share a little bit about this notion of the franchisee experience. Sitting here in the Plano office, I see franchisees come in and go through their experiences. Is there something that Pizza Hut does around this training experience?
Yes, so I'll start off with if I can just kind of take something that is really important for us to do, and I think Tara tapped on, how leadership is involved. For us, Pizza Hut, once we've identified and are going through the vetting process, and we feel pretty good about the candidate and the key operator getting pre-approved to be in our pre-approved process, not necessarily win the acquisition, but to be in our sales pipeline. We do require for the potential franchisee and the key operator, if he or she has been identified at the time, they have to meet with our leadership team. So it's about 11 to 12 leadership that, from their own respective department. And this is a meeting that, what we call our new potential franchisee meeting. We really do rely on this particular meeting because this is the opportunity where the potential franchisee, their team, and the key operator get to really get to know the Pizza Hut team, and they get to assess if this is a mutual fit. It's a forum where they get to ask questions, concerns they might have, anything from development, from marketing, you name it. And then in return from Pizza Hut, we do ask for the particular franchisee or group to present us with a business presentation. So I will walk, the potential group through this business presentations of expectations. But it is also an opportunity for us as a team to really assess and have questions about, this is where the culture questions come in. This is where the business acumen comes in. This is where the operations comes in, finance, et cetera, you name it. So that's really where I know, James, you get to see a lot of groups of new potential franchisees coming in. And once they are approved and get awarded the deal, then we bring them into Pizza Hut. So they go in through a training. Some of them, depending on their experience, could be 8 weeks, but let's just say your experience it's healthy, but not to maybe the expectations training is looking for, then we expand it to 12 weeks. However, we do have franchisees that come with limited restaurant experience, but they come in with very strong operators. We do recommend, and for the most part, those franchisees that I'm describing come to training because they do have the long-term expectation of, hey, I want to shadow the operator. I want to learn the ins and outs of the restaurant. So we have been very fortunate with who I'm describing. They actually come to training and learn the business.
Yes.
And then we have some that are very seasoned operators and franchisees that are not going to be on the day-to-day business, but they still choose to come into training to learn the business, what their team is doing, what they're about to acquire, and what they're about to run, and who they're going to pass on the key to their key operator. So it's nice to see. It's not a must, but they choose to do that to learn our side of the business. So it's really interesting to see that. And those are the groups that you are actually seeing.
Nice. Well, my takeaway from everything that each of you has mentioned in terms of the rigor that goes on in bringing franchisees in, it's just an indicator for not only how seriously we take this business, but how seriously we take the livelihoods of our franchisees, their key operators, and those who would be employed by you. Because once you become a part of the family, you're a part of the family and you matter, and everybody in your organization matters. And we want to do everything we can to set you up for success. So if you feel like as you're going through the process, wow, this is a lot. It is a lot because we take it very seriously because your success matters to us. So that's what that rigor is about, is we want to make sure that we produce successful franchisees. Nobody wants anybody that was in a franchise that failed. Our goal is to make sure that that does not happen for you. And so I'm going to break here for just a moment and share a video with you. And then I'm going to come back to our panel here and ask 2 questions. The first question will be, what traits have you seen make a buyer successful, a successful franchisee? And what potential missteps have you seen? But I'll give you a moment to think about that. What I'd like our audience to do is take a look at our Habit, Burger, Grill video.
Although hamburgers may be a common food in America, the habit approach to it is very uncommon. Cooking over an open flame just makes your mouth water just thinking about it.
The slogan to become everyone's favorite habit, one burger at a time, really means that our goal is to make the habit a habit.
You're going to get a burger that's made for you like it's the only one made that day.
They say you eat with your eyes first. How we cook over an open flame in an exhibition kitchen, it sets you up to understand what you're gonna get.
At one of the openings that we did, a lady came in and she goes, wow, I just came in for a burger and I got an experience.
This new niche of fast casual or quick casual, it takes the productivity and the convenience of fast food, but it marries it to the comfort and the made-to-order customization of casual food.
Hi, welcome to The Habit.
When you walk into The Habit, it feels like your local restaurant. Unless you go on the website, you don't even know there's another Habit.
This will be your chart. Well done, no onions.
It's not just the food. And while the food's important, it's the people.
We spend a lot of time teaching our employees why we do what we do, so they don't follow rules, but they do the right thing.
Hi there, ladies. How are you today?
How's your charburger? How's your salad? Very specific, because we want everybody to feel special.
You're going to look at the menu and go,
wow. They see that we've got a chicken sandwich on different kinds of bread. We've got albacore. We've got salads.
My personal favorite, our line-caught sushi-grade tuna. It comes in from Fiji 3 times a week, and they're going, wow, I never expected that at a burger grill.
We are proud to be recognized for the best tasting burger in America, and we feel that's the culmination of the entire experience. As we get more and more known, more customers are telling their friends, oh, see that? I told you that's good.
They become our brand ambassadors, and we don't use a lot of media. In fact, our customers tell our story for us.
The burger's great, slam dunk. The prices are great. That's one of the things that reels us in all the time.
it's easy to come in, get a quality meal, sit down with your family, and then go to the next place you're going to.
It is definitely one of the best tasting burgers I've ever had.
If I have the Habit logo on, everybody pulls me aside and say, God, I love you guys. When are you coming to my town?
California restaurant called The Habit opens its doors in Tempe. The Habit Burger Grill already has 2 other locations set to open this year.
The new Habit Grill in Fair Lawn, New Jersey.
We don't grow for growth's sake. Our customers tell us whether we should grow.
I've worked in about 8 different locations. No matter which store I was at, everyone at The Habit works together as a team.
Every manager is a teacher. Every restaurant is a training store. This is very sustainable because we continue to hire more people that are our future trainers. When I joined the company 10 years ago, to see it climb to the success it is now achieving is more than just because of the hamburgers. When it's what you've always done for over 45 years, it's ingrained in our DNA to take care of each other and to take care of our customers.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Isabella. Perfect timing, by the way, Isabella. So you're awesome. All right. So wanted to circle back then to the panel to talk about what traits have you seen that make a buyer a successful franchisee once they're in the brand. And so let me see. I think let's start with Diane.
Thanks, James. So what I will say is 2 things. One, really being committed to your team, really being invested in growing your team and seeing your team succeed, because the more that you're there invested in them, that will translate to customers, and they feel that energy. So I think that some of our most successful franchisees, they're in their stores, they know their teams, they know their managers, they are vested in them and their success. And so I would say that that's probably one of the key traits. The other one is always being committed to learning and growing. So the franchisees that do the best are always out there trying to find best practices and finding out what others are doing and how can that work in our stores. So always having a desire to learn.
Great, thank you. Tara, what have you seen?
Man, Diane had some good points there. I'd say, building on what she said, passion for the brand. We operate great brands. They're fun. It's great product. And I think coming in just with an appreciation for the brand and for the system that you're a part of, and putting some degree of trust in following the playbook that the brand experts are putting together. I think that speaks to the execution, to certainly being an active franchisee in the franchisee community that collaborates with the brand, but then also executing against the plan, which again benefits the entire system.
Yes, all about the system. Because if the system fails, we're toast, right? And everybody's a part of the system. So thank you for that. Ericka?
This is hard. Chasing them, what they just said, and that burger that we saw, that was so good. No, I agree with everything they said. If I can just add on, I see that a lot of our franchisees that are very successful, not only in terms of sales, their business, their corporate offices, but most importantly, they really find a way to mirror the community. So the people that they have in the restaurants, they hire people that look like people in the restaurants and in their community, and do a lot for the community. And so we've seen at Pizza Hut that franchisees that have that mindset, it's a reflection of how much they care for their employees and for the people that obviously buy into their pizza. So that has been everything else that, like I said, Diane and Tara mentioned. I cannot agree more for success. This is just the one ingredient that I have seen that I think is really key for our franchisees.
Fantastic. All right. And so let's talk about, what are some missteps that you all have seen? And we'll start with you, Tara.
Ooh. So I'd say, it's kind of the flip side of everything we just talked about that lines people up for success. But Diane touched on this earlier, like that growth mindset is so critical to the future health of the business. And if someone's missing the growth mindset, I feel like it signifies a bigger miss, which is like just being happy with status quo. That's not going to cut it in the long term with Yum Brands. So I think ensuring that you're nimble, you're willing to always learn, grow, and open more restaurants, more successful restaurants.
Love it. Ericka?
I would have to say, number one, disengaged with the brand, with their employees, with their business, most important with the key operator. And then the second one that I've seen that it can be an epic fail is a lack of trust with the brand. So back to Tara's point, the reason you come to be a franchisee and partner with a franchisor is because we have the playbook. We have written the playbook out for you. That's why you pay royalties. That's why you pay us a fee. That's why you pay a marketing fee. The franchisees that go by the playbook and don't try to modify it and do their own business do very well. The ones that go and try to modify their own playbook and do their own recipes and do their own training, it just doesn't work. I've seen it, not a lot of times, I've seen it a few times, and it's a tremendous fail. And I just tie it back to a lack of trust.
Thank you for that. And then Diane, we'll end with you.
Great. What I will say, I echo what Tara and Ericka said, but what I will say also to add on that is when they do get in trouble, they don't come tell us. Because we're here to help. We want you to be successful. That's why we're here. So when they have whether it's they don't want to tell us because they're embarrassed or because there's a lack of trust or whatever that is, like, come tell us, and we are going to work and do everything in our power to help you change whatever you've gotten yourself into, or if there's something going on to help you become successful.
Right. And so let's stay there for just a second. When you talk about this notion of getting in trouble, what are some of those things that people might run into that might ask them that they may not want to come tell us? What are some of those things?
One, I think we see a lot of times is they get into leases that they are unaware of some clauses that they maybe didn't understand, or they really wanted that space, and so they get into a lease that maybe is too high given the threshold of sales. And so then it's this cycle of they start to struggle, and instead of coming and telling us so we can have a conversation and maybe help understand what can they go and approach their landlord, what kind of conversations can they have. They don't tell us until it becomes just untenable.
Yeah.
And so we really want to encourage them to have an open dialogue with us.
Excellent. So thank you for that point, because it is important. If we have that trust, we can have those conversations regardless of what it is, because at the end of the day, our goal is to help you become a successful franchisee. If you fail, we fail. That's just how it works. And so our goal is to have you become a very successful franchisee. And so first and foremost, Jorge, thank you for having us. Thank you for allowing us the time to just share a little bit about who we are and what we do. If you just look at the screen from a gender perspective and an ethnicity perspective, we didn't put this panel together because of we wanted to show diversity. This is just who does the work. This is just who does the work. And now it happens to be a diverse panel that we are, but we are just members of the organization who do what we do. And it happens to be that we have 3 fantastic female leaders or women leaders in this role around our franchising. And I do the work that I do. But we didn't stage this. We said we need somebody to come represent our franchising and share those who do the franchise recruitment and things of that nature. And this is the group. So we say that to say we're actually walking the talk of leadership when it comes to, we don't want some people at the table. We need everybody at the table. And when you have that happen, this screen is what it looks like. So Jorge, thank you for having us. And Isabella, if I could kindly ask you to end at least our official comments with the video, that would be great.
And we taking our time. Yeah, it's all about the vibes. Okay. We're taking it slow. We're just taking our time. We're just living our lives. We got nowhere to go. So let's stay here the whole night. 'Cause all we feel is good vibes. Yeah, all we feel is good vibes. We vibe with it, it's a good time. We don't worry about the hate. We just pass it to the side, grab a drink, hold it up, say what's good, feeling right. All your friends, they invited, bring a bottle through the night. Tell them we gon' get it lit, we gon' get it lit. Get a little throw, get a little bent, have a good time. Ay, and y'all don't need a vent. On tilt, we gon' really get it in, right? Right. All we feel is good vibes.
Right. So Jorge, thank you very much again.
Sure.
And back to you, my friend.
No, thank you. And I love the lyrics of the song and the rap style. It's all about the style of the music and to bring people. No, I really appreciate you all's input. I think you discuss very, very important facts and matters and characteristics for people to get some orientation in trying to get into the systems that you represent. And I think you just give very, very good things. We received some questions through our Facebook streaming through, and I will send those questions via email to all of you so you can maybe answer those to specific people, or maybe we can just put them in our log later on for the website. But I really appreciate your involvement and your support. And well, hopefully we can see more and more of your stores and better places and nicer faces all over. So thank you again, and I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you. Thank you, panelists. Appreciate you.
And
bye-bye.
And for our attendance, this was our second segment the day for today. And we are gonna have another one starting at 2 p.m., which is a pre-recorded fantastic story with one man that has created a lot of franchise brands. The creator of El Pollo Loco, Juan Ochoa, Juan Francisco Ochoa, who we recorded this interview later last night, and it was a great story. So we invite you to keep on and 10 more minutes and you will find that. Thank you very much. And then we'll wait you, and we expect to see you tomorrow in our Latino Franchise Symposium week. For now, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, James.
Partner, did that give you what you needed, what you wanted?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was great, and I really appreciate the time and the concepts they brought. So thank you very much.
Very good, my friend. Good deal.
All right.
And I will see you shortly.
Yeah, sure.
Right, thank
Have
you.
a great afternoon.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Jorge Ferraez. I am editor and publisher of Latino Leaders Magazine. And this is the second day of the Latino Franchise Symposium 2021, which is our seventh year doing this event, always with great speakers, always with great examples and figures in the business, especially among the Hispanic community leaders business. And this year, we have, among many others that are great examples and great stories, we have a story of a man that has created for a long time many different concepts and has been successful in many of them. And I think he is also a very good example of what an entrepreneur with many values can achieve in this country and his country of origin, which is Mexico. So I am very happy to introduce today our good friend and admired leader, Juan Francisco Pancho Ochoa. He is the founder of El Pollo Loco, and then later on, he also founded the Palenque names, one called Taco Palenque with a lot of stores out there. And more recently, the Palenque Grill, which is a higher concept that he will explain later. I don't want to get into details because I don't want to make a mistake on the descriptions. So Pancho started working with his father when he was 13 years old, and he learned a lot from him. And then when Pancho was 31 years of age, in the year of 1975, he started and co-founded the El Pollo Loco. And we will also ask him about that story. And later on, he sold that. They started with 60. I understand they went up to 60 stores in Mexico, and then they started in the U.S. and then they sold. And then when Don Pancho was 36 years old, he opened in 1998 Taco Palenque in the U.S. And later on in 1987, he started, 87, he started Palenque, and 2005, he started the Palenque Grill. So he has received numerous awards and distinctions and awards because of his many years of leading and many years of improvising things with very good results. So it is my privilege to welcome here Don Pancho Ochoa. And I want to say that we are going to turn now into Spanish because Pancho feels more comfortable speaking in Spanish. And later on, we will provide a transcript of this conversation to English in our website. Así que, Pancho, muy buenas tardes y gracias por estar con nosotros.
Buenas tardes, Jorge. Mucho gusto de estar platicando con ustedes.
Pues fíjate que tratando de encontrar buenos ejemplos en el ámbito de las franquicias, tu nombre es uno de esos nombres que empiezan a saltar por todos lados cuando empiezas a investigar por aquí, por allá y empiezas a hablarle a tus amigos, oye, franquicias, no, tienes que hablar con Pancho Ochoa, es un gran pionero y otro. Así que ya estaba yo muy emocionado y hemos creado una gran expectativa. Pero cuéntanos un poco más de ti. Sabemos que eres de Sinaloa. Y como ya lo describí, porque me lo mandaste en tu biografía, a los 13 años, muy jovencito, comenzaste a trabajar.
Así fue. Vivíamos en Guasave, en Sinaloa, cuando mi papá, una creciente que hubo, arruinó el negocio, que era una mueblería. Y éramos 12 hermanos, y yo, siendo el mayor de los hombres, mi papá me dijo, ¿sabes qué, hijo? Tienes que ayudarme porque cada vez que cada uno toma una tortilla a la hora de la comida, baja tanto así el altero y pues necesito que me ayudes. Entonces dejé la escuela y a los 14 años aproximadamente, 13, 14 años, desde entonces empecé a trabajar tiempo completo. Mi madre sufrió mucho porque no pude seguir de universidad, pero tuve un gran maestro. Mi padre fue un gran maestro y creo que me enseñó mucho, sobre todo a a no tener miedo a emprender, en abrir negocios. Y yo trabajaba con él temporadas, porque la mueblería, la clientela de él eran pescadores, y eran de 6 a 8 meses en la temporada de pesca de camarón, de jaiba. Y los otros meses yo buscaba qué negocios abrir. En una ocasión puse una taquería de carnitas y por fuera de un billar. Y me acuerdo que se vendía bien, pero tenía muchos amigos yo. Y llegaban, Pancho, 4 tacos de maciza y 2 de güeritos. Bueno, ahí están, apúntamelos. Y yo se los apuntaba. Hasta que se llenó el cuaderno, pero ya no hubo con qué comprar otro cochinito. Y pues quebró ese negocio. Y así inicié muchos, hasta que se presentó una oportunidad. Mi esposa y yo, ya con 3 hijos, durante el año de 1974, teníamos una zapatería, una pequeña zapatería en la que nos iba más mal que bien. Y en esa época se pusieron de moda los pollos asados a la parrilla, abiertos de mariposa y asados a la parrilla. Pero era una cosa que en Semana Santa se ponía una persona o así. Finalmente alguien se estableció ahí en Guasave y puso unas mesas, unas sillas y abrió un negocio con pollos asados. Se pusieron de moda y en diciembre del 74 yo fui a comprar 2 pollos. Y cuando llegué le dije, Rafa, 2 pollos, ya se me terminaron, me dijo. ¿Cómo? Ahí hay 6 o 7 en la parrilla, quiero 2 nomás. No, me dijo, ya lo están esperando los señores que están aquí. Pero si otro día vente más temprano, porque yo vendo 100 pollos nada más. Y el que alcanzó, alcanzó, y el que no, pues no. Bueno, me fui. Allí no me hizo ningún ruido. Fui, compré unos tacos, otra cosa, salí del apuro. Como a la semana me llegan unas visitas y era más temprano y dije, ahora sí alcanzo pollos. Son 6:30, todavía no son las 7. Cuando llegué ya estaban echándole agua al carbón. Oye, Rafa, le digo, ¿qué pasó? Mira, le digo, ahora vengo por 4 pollos y ya no hay. Y luego llegaron otros autos detrás de mí que querían pollo y nomás le hacía así, que ya no había. Y me dijo, mira, Panchito, yo vendo nomás 100 pollos, ya te lo dije. El que quiera pollo que se venga más temprano, dijo. El que alcanzó, alcanzó, y el que no, pues no. Ahí oí una campanada que nunca en mi vida había oído. Juan. Y me acordé de que mi padre siempre me había dicho, las oportunidades son calvas, no tienen pelo para que las tomes así fácilmente. Las oportunidades se presentan como una bola de boliche que viene rodando y hay que abrazarla con las 2 manos y no soltarla, porque si se va esa oportunidad, alguien más la va a tomar. Bueno, ahí oí la campanada y que me dijo, Pancho, los pollos que no quieren vender Rafael, los vas a vender tú. Y pues yo tenía un local con la zapatería muy bien ubicado, pero casi rodeado de zapaterías grandes, pues no tenía nada que hacer. Pues llegué, le dije a mi esposa, viejita, voy a vender todo el calzado y vamos a poner una pollería aquí. Sí, bueno. En una semana vendí todo el calzado en 30,000 pesos. Le di 15,000 a mi esposa. Le dije, esto guárdalo por si no nos va bien, para ver que hay un colchoncito. Con los otros 15,000 mandamos a hacer una parrilla donde cabían alrededor de 15 pollos. Esa parrilla la pusimos posteriormente en la banqueta y a buscar una persona que supiera asar para que me ayudara, que fue don Chicho, desde el principio me ayudó, a buscar un nombre, conseguí un pintor, un rotulista. Fue algo muy curioso lo del rotulista, porque yo le iba a poner el rico pollo y si no, el pollo gordo. Esos eran los 2 nombres que yo tenía. Cuando le hablo al pintor, que es Bobby, Roberto Archi, y le digo, Bobby, para que me pongas aquí las letras, ¿cómo se va a llamar? El rico pollo. No, me dijo, ese nombre está muy cursi, no me gusta. Ahora hay veces que paso por negocios que se llaman El Rico Pollo y le digo, mira, qué nombre tan cursi. Entonces no quiso. Entonces le dije, bueno, pues el pollo gordo. Menos, me dijo, menos. ¿Pero por qué, Bobby? Porque si un cliente viene y el pollo no está gordo, te vas a meter en problemas, Pancho. Ah, caray, no, pues, ¿cómo le ponemos? Manda a traer una caguama, dijo, y nos tomamos un vasito y ahí encontramos un nombre bueno. Mira, pues qué buena idea. En eso estábamos cuando pasa un tío de mi esposa y me dice, oye, Pancho, que vas a poner una pollería aquí, se va a llamar Pollos Pancho, ¿ok? Y le platiqué el dilema que tenía con el Bobby. Entonces él me dijo, pues si hay un restaurante de carnes en Culiacán que se llama El Caballo Loco, si tú vas a vender pollos, ponle el Pollo Loco. Y dijo el Bobby, ese nombre está muy bueno. Puso la escalera y se subió. Yo alcancé a decirle, Bobby, espérame tantito para pensarlo, porque ya ves que los pueblos chicos a uno lo bautizan con el nombre del negocio. Van a decir Pancho Pollo Loco, que ahora pues, me da gusto, pero en ese momento, no, me dijo, ese nombre está muy bueno. Si no te gusta, búscate otro pintor para que lo quite, pero es el mejor que puedes poner.
Wow.
Pues, así nació el Pollo Loco en Guasave el 6 de enero de 1975.
¿Y cómo es que se expandió tanto? Bueno, tú mismo lo dijiste, estaban de moda los pollos asados. Yo me acuerdo de verlos, digo, empezaron por todo el país, yo mismo me acuerdo, y bueno, se te antojaba nada más de pasar y verlos ahí en el asador. Pero, ¿cómo fue que lograste replicar y abrir tantos lugares?
Sí, fíjate que fue algo muy curioso y que una experiencia muy bonita para nosotros, para la familia. Somos 12 hermanos. Dos de nosotros no tuvimos oportunidad de estudiar y tener una carrera profesional. Entonces, cuando me empieza a ir bien con el Pollo Loco, porque desde el primer día fue un exitazo. Entonces, invité a mi otro hermano, Jaime, que andaba batallando mucho, se fue a trabajar conmigo y a aprender el negocio para abrir un pollo local. En eso, mi hermana Laura, que vivía en San Luis Potosí, me habla y me dice, Pancho, viene la feria de San Luis Potosí, dura un mes. Sé que con el Pollo Loco te está yendo muy bien, ¿por qué no abres aquí en la feria un puesto? Entonces me dice, Jaime, yo me voy a San Luis, órale. Se viene, eso fue en septiembre, y en octubre, creo, o en agosto, creo, no recuerdo bien el mes, se abre un Pollo Loco durante la feria en San Luis, con mucho éxito. En ese tiempo todavía no había negocios, nada más en Sinaloa había 3 o 4 locales así, pero fuera del país no. Fue tanto el éxito en San Luis Potosí que ya mi hermano Jaime no se regresó a Guasave, sino que empezó a buscar un local y se abre el segundo Pollo Loco en San Luis Potosí. Lo abren él y mi hermana, con mucho éxito. Mi hermano Jaime, con una gran visión, porque él empezó a ver en la pantalla grande y me dijo, Pancho, este negocio tiene futuro. Vamos a registrar el nombre, vamos a hacer un prototipo, hacer un logotipo. Y total, yo viajé a San Luis, fuimos a la Ciudad de México, hicimos todo lo que se tenía que hacer. Y el marinado, que en aquel tiempo le decíamos menjurje, lo empezamos a envasar, porque antes lo hacíamos manualmente en cada negocio, y que en realidad es la parte del sabor del Pollo Loco, que es único. Y me voy a salir tantito del tema. Cuando llegamos a Los Ángeles, uno de los eslogan que usábamos era así, el Pollo Loco con su fórmula exclusiva. Y recuerde, si el coronel supiera la receta del Pollo Loco, ya fuera general. Y causó mucho revuelo eso y funcionó muy bien en su momento. Bueno, luego entra mi hermana Armida en Guadalajara. Luego otro hermano, Jesús Enrique, abre en Navojoa. Luego José, mi hermano, en Saltillo. Él iba a abrir en Torreón. Me dijo, Pancho, en Torreón quisiera abrir un Pollo Loco. Claro que sí. O sea, invité a toda la familia, amigos y compadres. Todo el que quería abrir un Pollo Loco lo abría. llegamos a tener entre 80 y 100 pollos locos en 5 años. Y fue cuando empezó a proliferar mucho los pollos asados. Unos chicos, otros grandes, unos parecían el velayo y otros parecían una vulcanizadora, pero todos con éxito, desordenados, pero así fue el inicio. Sí. El inicio hubo sinergia porque participó mucha familia y amigos. Y así fue como iniciamos.
¿Y cómo fue que se empezaron en Estados Unidos? Bueno, tengo ahí 2 preguntas, porque bueno, ya teniendo éxito, teniendo la fórmula ganadora, la fórmula del marinado, del menjurje, y ya comenzando a envasar y me imagino que se la empezaste a mandar a todas las tiendas, ¿cómo fue que se convirtió en lo que fue, sobre todo en California, que después avanzó a muchas partes del país, que ha sido un exitazo la cadena, ¿no? Y la pregunta va un poco también al lado, Pancho, de qué otras cosas empezaron a ofrecer en el menú de Pollo Loco para complementar el pollo, porque entiendo que también hubo varias cosas ahí nuevas, ¿no?
Fíjate que en aquel tiempo vendíamos únicamente pollo entero, medio pollo, tortillas y salsa.
Okay.
Cuando entramos a Estados Unidos, que te voy a contestar la primera pregunta primero y luego entramos con lo de la ampliación del menú. En 1980, principios, abrimos el segundo negocio en Tampico. Y en el camino, venimos de allá a Monterrey, me acuerdo, Jaime y yo, mi hermano Jaime y yo, que éramos los que estábamos en ese tiempo a la cabeza de la compañía. Y yendo de Monterrey a San Luis Potosí, le dije a Jaime en el camino, oye Jaime, vamos abriendo en Los Ángeles, porque yo en algunas ocasiones fui a Los Ángeles, California, a trabajar en las temporadas bajas de trabajo con mi padre. Entonces ya conocía la ciudad y había trabajado allá despachando gasolina, de jardinero, paseando caballos en el hipódromo, de lo que fuera. Era un poco vago y le andaba siempre buscando. Entonces me dijo, vamos, inmediatamente, a bote pronto. Me contestó que sí. Entonces invitamos a Hugo Martínez, un amigo que ya era socio de nosotros en Tampico, para entrar los 3 en Estados Unidos, y un amigo y compadre mío de toda la vida, amigo de la infancia, que vivía en Los Ángeles y andaba batallando mucho allá. Lo invitamos y en Los Ángeles entramos esos 4 socios. Fuimos a Los Ángeles, Jaime y yo, hablamos con Humberto Galvez y le dijimos, Humberto, queremos abrir Pollo Loco aquí. Vamos, le entramos, dijo, búscate unos locales. Nos regresamos nosotros. A los días nos habló, tengo 4 lugares, vengan a ver cuál les conviene. Fuimos Jaime y yo, vimos los 4, pero uno que nos impresionó mucho porque vimos que estaba así de mexicanos. La calle hervían como hormigas, eran puros mexicanos, según nosotros. Bueno, pues este es, local chiquito, no tenía drive-thru, 64 asientos, en un mall así pegado, y pero había muchos mexicanos alrededor, según nosotros. Cuando ya estábamos terminando la construcción, la remodelación, empezaron a llegar, oiga, van a vender pupusas. ¿Qué es eso? No, pues que son de El Salvador, muy buenas. Y otro, que caldo de manguera y que arepas. Y empezaron a pedir comida de Centroamérica, o de Sudamérica. Y dije yo, Jaimón, se me hace que nos equivocamos, se me hace que aquí vamos a tronar, porque esto yo creo que no comen ni tortillas ni salsa, y pues es lo fuerte de nosotros. Pero no, ya estábamos metidos, abrimos, fue un exitazo, pero exitazo. Se puso de moda, mucho éxito. En 3 años abrimos 14 negocios, wow. 3 propios, sí, 3 propios y 11 franquicias. Y crecimos muy rápido. Desgraciadamente tuvimos un tropiezo, tuvimos un problema con uno de los socios y se vino una situación muy crítica económica y tuvimos que vender la compañía. Y la vendimos en 1983, vendimos los derechos y la marca en los Estados Unidos. Y nosotros seguimos conservando México. Luego, y en Los Ángeles fue cuando de vender pollo y medio pollo, nos dijo nuestro socio, oye, pero aquí pollo y medio pollo, aquí todos los restaurantes tienen otras cosas, una hamburguesita o algo. Entonces ahí ya nos fuimos con una pieza de pollo con tortilla y esto, un combo con frijoles charros, arroz y 2 piecitas de pollo, o 1 o 3, super combo con 3. Ya metimos ensalada de papa, ensalada de codito, papas fritas. Y ya que lo hicimos en Estados Unidos, importamos a México esa idea y ya también empezamos a hacer eso.
Ajá.
Así fue como empezamos a aumentar el menú.
Sí. Entonces se dividió el negocio, tú te regresaste a México para seguir operando esos y los de Estados Unidos se quedaron ellos operando lo de acá.
Sí, Estados Unidos se quedó Dennis con la compañía y se hubo un acuerdo de intercambio de tecnología y todo lo que desarrollara cualquiera de los dos países para el otro. Sin embargo, nos propusieron abrir en sociedad algunos países de Oriente. Entonces a mí me tocó viajar 7, 8 veces en los 90s, sobre todo a Japón. En Japón abrimos 25 negocios, ya con ellos, con la tecnología americana. Abrimos en Singapur, Malasia, Filipinas. A Filipinas yo nunca fui, fueron mis hermanos, pero a mí no me tocó ir. Y en realidad ellos eran los que manejaban Finalmente terminamos vendiéndole esa parte y quedándonos únicamente con México.
Ahora, ¿qué pasa entre el periodo en el que vendes y empiezas el taco Palenque o el concepto de Palenque? No sé qué es lo que vino primero ahí, si nos puedes explicar.
Fíjate, la segunda campanada. Cuando vendemos en 1983, en agosto, en Semana Santa de 1984, nos movemos mi esposa y yo a Monterrey con los 5 hijos que teníamos hasta ese momento. La quinta hija nació en Los Ángeles precisamente cuando estábamos desarrollando. Llegamos a Monterrey, ahí nació mi 6º hijo, José, y con la cosquillita yo de hacer algo en Estados Unidos, y me había quedado muy cerquita Estados Unidos, pues de Monterrey, un brinquito, McAllen o Laredo. Pero yo había firmado un convenio cuando vendimos. Me dijo Brent Curtis, mira Pancho, me vas a firmar aquí que en 5 años no vas a competir contra Pollo Loco con los pollos asados en Estados Unidos. Claro, le firmé a la carrera. Si me ha dicho que nunca en la vida también le hubiera firmado, pues necesitábamos solucionar aquello, pero me puso 5 años. El cabo que en 5 años me dijo, nosotros llevamos muy lejos y no nos alcanza. Está bueno, gracias. Faltaban 2 años, 2 años y medio. 84 vendimos, 83, 84, 85, 86. A fines del 86 faltaban 2 años para que se venciera, cuando sucedió algo parecido a lo de los pollos Boulevard de Wasabi. En San Antonio, yendo para Los Ángeles, porque iba yo mínimo una vez al mes a apoyarlos sobre todo con la operación, porque no faltaba quien llegaba y le metía mano al menjurje y lo desparpajaban. Y pues todavía quien me voy a Pancho, fíjate que cambiaron ahí voy yo a arreglárselas. Bueno, en una de esas idas pasamos por San Antonio, llegamos manejando de Monterrey a San Antonio para otro día tomar el vuelo a Los Ángeles directo, y preguntamos en el hotel cerca del aeropuerto si había algún restaurante abierto porque ya era tarde. Entonces nos dijo aquí hay uno, dijo, en la calle Nacadoches, que está abierto 24 horas. Fuimos a un restaurante, comida mexicana, Tex-Mex. Entramos, había fila larga de carros. Llegamos, nos tocó el número 17, pero tuve un conflicto con una señora que estaba en la caja. Yo andaba a dieta, no quería comer harina, y dije, pedí 2 tacos de fajita en tortilla de maíz. No tenemos tortilla de maíz, me dijo. Bueno, le dije, de las que cóbramelas como son y véndame 2 tortillitas de maíz o 4 con las que hacen las enchiladas. No podemos, dijo. Esas las tenemos nada más para las enchiladas. Ay, Chihuahua, dijiste, qué batallosa. Bueno, ¿cuántas enchiladas trae la orden de enchiladas? 3. Me dijo, hay de queso y de carne. Ah, pues dame una orden. ¿De qué? De carne, le dije. O de queso, ya ni me acuerdo. Me dio el ticket, se la pagué y me fui a la línea donde despachan y le dije a otra muchacha que estaba ahí, mire, de esta orden, estas enchiladas no me las dé, nomás las tortillas las caliente y me las da, yo acá hago el cambalache. Y se dejó venir la cajera para que no me las diera. La enchilada le tienes que dar y me las dieron. Hay otra campanada más fuerte que la primera. Pancho, tú tienes buenas recetas. Frélida, tú que tienes buenas recetas. Mi mamá, muy buena receta, mi esposa. Y hay que dar al cliente lo que pida. Lo que pida. Y así es como nace Taco Palenque, en Laredo, 1987, con una filosofía de que al cliente lo que pida. Si te piden unos huevos estrellados a las 8 de la noche y ya no está en el menú porque es el desayuno de la mañana, le vendemos los huevos estrellados a esa hora. Lo que pidan. Una vez llegó un americano anglo, 2 tacos de menudo, dijo. Y le dijo a la cajera, no tenemos tacos de menudo. Pues sí, sí tenemos. Le dije, que no lo veo. Usted no le diga que no nunca. ¿Cómo lo marco? Márcalo de fajita, le dije. Yo lo voy a hacer. Bueno, ¿en tortilla de harina o maíz? En tortilla de harina, dijo el americano. Y yo me metí a hacerlos. Para la tortilla, una cuchara con agujeritos. Ay, con mucho grano, me dijo el americano. O sea que sí sabía. Le hice los tacos, se me antojaron. Me envolví y se los di. Lo seguí porque dije, pues, ¿de dónde? Cilantro, cebolla, chile picado. Se sentó, se remangó la camisa y se los comió. No, pues miren mis pisedollos para mí, muy buenos. Y dije, lo voy a poner en el menú y nunca lo he hecho, se me olvida. Nomás cuando lo platico me vuelvo a acordar, pero muy ricos.
Sí.
Y con el menú me pasó otro detalle que te lo voy a decir. También nosotros tenemos en la filosofía, tanto en Pollo Loco como en Taco Palenque, en Palenque Grill, de nunca decir, no hay, se nos acabó, nunca. Preferimos que nos sobre y perder, pero nunca decirle al cliente eso. Entonces, cuando había un solo Taco Palenque y el menudo lo hacíamos allá, hacíamos toda la comida en ese negocio, era en Laredo, Texas, por la San Bernardo. Ahí estábamos cocinando una olla de menudo porque duraba 6 horas en cocinarse, mientras se acababa la otra que iba menos de la mitad, cuando hubo un conato de incendio y se echó a perder toda la comida. Pues con lo demás no hubo problema, las tortillas, las quesadillas, la carne asada, pues en 10 minutos está, pero el menudo ya no hay. Y le dije yo a las cajas, si alguien pide menudo, pídanle disculpas, porque se nos terminó, no es común, pero que sufrimos un accidente, y que ordene el platillo que quiera y se lo vamos a regalar. Pues no pasó mucho rato cuando llegó un señor, una familia, uno pidió fajitas, otra cosa, tacos, y uno pidió menudo. Y ya le dieron la explicación y le dijeron, pues un plato de fajitas, dijo. Pues ya le dieron el plato de fajitas y le explicaron que porque no había habido menudo, era el regalo. No, pues el amigo se fue derechito a un teléfono público, le echó una peseta y marcó. Pues de ahí para adelante empezó a llegar gente a pedir menudo, uno tras otro. Hizo colita de gente pidiendo menudo y comiendo gratis otra cosa.
Pues sí.
Hernán Galvez, que era gerente. Pancho, nos van a quebrar, quita esa. No, le dije, esto no lo hallamos, le dije. Toda esta gente que viene aquí ahorita, a lo mejor iba a pasar meses o años para que viniera a probar nuestra comida. Y a raíz de que se desparramó la noticia, se hizo mitote. Ve cómo está el negocio, nunca se había llenado, acabamos de abrir. Y es una anécdota y aprendimos esa lección, un aprendizaje muy bueno.
Sí. Y pues sigue la filosofía del cliente lo que pida, ¿verdad? O sea, ahí sí.
Sí. A nosotros nos piden un hot dog y claro, nos va a matar en lo que van aquí a 4 o 5 cuadras a traérselo.
Dime,
o lo que sea.
¿Cómo si ya puedes comparar las dos historias, la de Pollo Loco y la de Taco Palenque, en las cuales pues las dos ha sido muy exitoso? ¿Cuál ha sido el factor común de las dos? ¿Cuál ha sido? Ya nos contaste un poco tu tu visión o tu feeling por los negocios, por lo que hace falta. Eso creo que es algo que no todo el mundo tiene, pero bueno, tú lo pudiste identificar. ¿Qué otras cosas hiciste igual o repetiste en las dos, has repetido en las dos conceptos que te han dado ese éxito?
Mira, yo he seguido los consejos de mi padre, que siempre me dijo, Pancho, dedícate a lo que te guste para que no sea sacrificio tu trabajo. Y una cosa muy importante, lo que hagas, a lo que te dedique, hazlo mejor que los demás, porque todos van por el mercado, hay competencia. Entonces, eso se los inculco a mis hijos, he tratado de inculcarlo a la familia y lo traemos. La misión de nosotros es al cliente siempre darle la razón, darle lo que pida. Si no lo tenemos a la mano, buscar cómo dejarlo contento. Probablemente es algo que nos ha ayudado mucho. Otra cosa, el que no se nos acaben los productos. Es muy común. Un ejemplo, en un Palenque Grill estábamos contratando a una persona para gerente que venía de Onion Garden. Había sido gerente allá y entró como para conocernos una semana a tomar la gerencia a un Palenque Grill en Laredo. Y llegó un día con un pizarrón y lo puso adentro de la cocina. Y le dije, oye, no me acuerdo el nombre, ¿el pizarrón para qué es? Ah, me dijo, es lo más importante que tiene que tener un restaurante, me dijo. ¿Así? ¿Para qué? Dije yo, pues algo que no sé yo. Aquí tenemos que ir apuntando los productos que se acaban, para que los meseros, cuando entramos la comida, ah, no, ya se acabó el pescado frito, ah, no, ya se acabó la rachera, y para que cuando se la pidan, ya le digan, no, esta ya se nos terminó, ya no se nos terminó. A mí, por favor, le dije, saca ese pizarrón de aquí y llévalo por otra parte. Aquí nunca se acaba nada. Oiga, pero que si no se acaban las cosas, si pide de más y que se puede perder, eso no me importa. El cliente no tiene la culpa si yo no... Aquí eso no funciona. Entonces, han sido detalles, yo creo, que se van sumando y buscar que el sazón, que el sabor sea el mejor. Nosotros somos nuestros propios chefs en la familia. En mi esposa, soy yo. De mis 6 hijos hay 2 que están muy metidos en el sabor, que arman platillos y nos juntamos, los vemos y quítale aquí, ponle acá, dice uno y el otro también, y así es como hemos armado todo. Entonces, otra cosa que hacemos, cuando abrimos el primer Pollo Loco ya con drive-thru, después de venir de Estados Unidos, sí. En Monterrey fue el que está por Eugenio Garza frente al Tecnológico. Ese ya lo abrimos con drive-thru y yo creo que fue el primer negocio que tenía la máquina de refrescos para que la gente autoservicio se sirviera libre y con drive-thru era el único. Habían abierto uno que se llamaba Burger Boy enfrente al TEC allí, enseguida nosotros, pero le habían puesto drive-thru, pero no lo usaban, ahí se estacionaba el gerente, o sea que nunca lo usaron, nosotros sí. Entonces yo considero que fue el primero en Monterrey, 1900, ya ni me acuerdo, 84, yo creo 85, por ahí, que abrimos con autoservicio de refrescos. Y así después barras de salsa para que la gente se sirva lo que quiere. Entonces hemos sido vanguardistas, innovadores en muchas cosas. No nos tentamos el corazón en darle al cliente, darle lo que sea, porque al final de cuentas nos ha funcionado muy bien. Y los dos negocios, yo siento que son negocios con mucho ángel, que la gente lo ve en cada ciudad, en cada pueblo como propio de ellos, ¿no? Sí. Y lo presumen, entonces eso nos da mucho gusto.
Hay algo muy difícil en lo que tú hiciste, que es precisamente, y seguramente ya lo has escuchado, pero es precisamente cómo puedes multiplicar las cosas sin que disminuya la calidad, ¿no? Porque cuando tú me dices, bueno, nosotros somos muy buenos cocineros, la familia está metida, mi esposa, yo, tú estás ahí al frente del servicio atendiendo al cliente, pero cuando ya lo empiezas a replicar y tú ya no estás ahí en todas las tiendas para ver que se dé la misma, cuando necesitas multiplicar, cuando necesitas franquiciar ya y hacer que la fórmula funcione, en otros lugares sin necesidad de que estés tú. Ese es un paso que es muy difícil y que muy pocas marcas y muy pocos conceptos lo sobreviven, porque ahí es donde se caen muchos, precisamente en esa parte. ¿Qué consejo darías a aquellos que quieren precisamente pasar por ese proceso? ¿Cómo le hiciste tú? ¿Cómo lograste que se siguiera esto? Y pensando hacia futuro a otras marcas, o quizá aquella, por ejemplo, aquella tienda de bicicletas o de vestidos o de sopas que algún paisano nuestro quiere abrir, ¿cuál es el secreto para lograr multiplicarlo?
Ese es el reto. Ese es el reto número 1 para poder crecer. Nosotros en Pollo Loco, lo primero que hicimos fue cuando Jaime me propuso envasar el menjurje, para poder tener exactamente esa fórmula que decíamos, un litro de marinado, porque ahí ya también se mejoró el nombre del rancho a la ciudad. 1 litro de marinado en 20 litros de agua, tantos minutos en esto, y luego ya viene lo demás, ¿no? Eso es una de las cosas que tienen que hacer. Un comisariato, una cocina industrial, donde si hay 50 restaurantes y en cada restaurante hay una cocinera o un cocinero, o estamos nosotros o alguien, de todas maneras se van a mover las recetas. Al tener un comisariato, una cocina industrial como la que tenemos en Taco Palenque, ahí envasamos, empacamos la mayor parte de nuestros productos. En el caso de nosotros, ahí hacemos la tortilla de harina, la sacamos precocida y surtimos a todas las tiendas. No usamos, hasta ahorita no usamos ni conservadores, ni congelamos la comida, porque estamos en un radio relativamente cerca, que surtimos 2 veces por semana, o los 7 días de la semana los que están cerca del comisariato. Entonces mantenemos comida muy fresca, pero siempre estamos vigilando que no nos falle nada. En una ocasión nos salió, yo llegué a New Brunswick, un Taco Palenque, y nos salió una comida, creo que era carne guisada, muy salada, pero demasiado salada. Entonces le hablé al gerente hoy y le dije, está muy salada, le pusieron sal. No, es de la que viene en la bolsa. A ver, tráeme una bolsa del refrigerador nueva, así fría. La abrimos y la probé y venía muy salada. Entonces ya vi en la etiqueta el número de lote. Ahí mismo agarré el teléfono, le hablé al gerente de la cocina, oye, el lote fulano, de tal fecha, está la carne salada. Habla a todas las tiendas para que no den nada de ese lote y repone todo lo que tengan. Eso, las tiendas no pierden nada. Entonces, ese tipo de cosas es lo que nos ayuda a mantener la calidad siempre uniforme. Se puede ir un tomate entero, pero lo demás ya no, un ratito. Entonces, hemos cuidado mucho eso, mantener la calidad. Y ayer o antier, una persona nos estaba diciendo, yo desde que estaba chico me traía a mi papá aquí, ahora yo traigo a mis hijos al Taco Palenque, porque yo de chico me acuerdo que pedí el pirata, y ahorita lo vuelvo a comer y sabe exactamente igual. Y hay otros restaurantes que va y ya no sabe la comida como sabía antes, o le van bajando. Yo creo que bajan calidad. Otra, y eso lo he visto yo en Laredo. Hubo hace como unos 10, 12 años una escasez de tomate. Entonces la caja de tomate que regularmente costaba $14, se fue como a 80. O sea, una cosa, sí, ya te cuento, una catástrofe, ¿no? Si hubo heladas en Sinaloa, en Florida, y yo no sé de dónde llegaban los poquitos tomates que se conseguían. Entonces recuerdo que negocios como McDonald's, Burger King, daban las hamburguesas sin tomate. Nosotros no. Nosotros nunca dejamos de usar el tomate. Lo que lleva tomate, el pico de gallo que lleva mucho tomate, y todas las salsas y todos los platillos que llevan tomate. Preferimos perder dinero en esos platillos, en esos días que estaba así, que negarle al cliente a lo que está acostumbrado y sin moverle nada al precio. Entonces, hay quienes nos critican de que son cosas que están mal. ¿Cómo es posible si le pueden subir y el cliente lo va a entender? Pero no es tanto. Entonces, hemos hecho algunas cosas que nos han funcionado.
Ok.
Sí,
viendo un poco, tratando de empezar a finalizar, viendo hacia el futuro, ¿cómo ves tú? ¿Qué ves en el futuro de Taco Palenque, de Palenque Grill? No sé si tengas algunas otras ideas, otras cosas que hacer. ¿Hacia dónde va todo esto? Sobre todo ahora que acabamos de pasar la pandemia y que los restaurantes han sufrido terriblemente y muchos han tenido que reinventarse, ¿verdad?
Sí, hemos tenido que reinventarnos. Mira, nosotros durante la pandemia, pues tuvimos todos los restaurantes cerrados, en algún momento los comedores, pero nunca cerramos lo que era para llevar. En la comida para llevar sí nos permitieron. Aquí subió mucho la venta para llevar. Muchos restaurantes o algunas cadenas pequeñas desaparecieron. Fue muy duro, pero nos trajo mucha enseñanza. Aprendimos a cuidar más nuestros costos. Aprendimos a ofrecer más para llevar, a empacar mejor la comida, porque subió mucho la venta para llevar. Si antes era un promedio de 30% o 40% para llevar por drive-thru y el resto en el comedor, pues se volteó a 80, 20, 80, 10. En algunos meses todo era para llevar porque no podíamos abrir. Nosotros estamos ahorita, en el caso de Taco Palenque y Palenque Grill, expandiéndonos en Texas. La meta es Texas. Ahorita estamos ya cubriendo San Antonio, Austin, Dallas y Houston. Es el futuro más o menos que vemos cercano, antes de pensar en saltar a otro estado. Sin embargo, el día que tengamos que salir a Nevada, California, Arizona, quizá tengamos que poner otro comisariato en aquella región para poder garantizar la calidad y tener lo mismo exactamente que aquí. Más o menos ese es lo que estamos haciendo ahorita. Mis hijos, así como Pollo Loco lo abrí y lo compartí con todos mis hermanos, el caso de Taco Palenque está compartido con todos mis hijos y son los que están pues ya más metidos. Yo ya ahorita ya de más lejecito estoy yo, pero estoy muy activo, casi todo. Me tienen informado de todo lo que hacen. Mis hijos están muy activos con esto y con el desarrollo, sentando las bases para un crecimiento, para vender franquicias, que como decías ahorita, para crecer y expandirse por la venta de franquicias, el desarrollo de franquicias o licencias es muy importante, porque es la forma. Y para poderlo hacer tenemos que tener una muy buena infraestructura, para ofrecerles que no batallen en ese aspecto, que les llegue todo como debe ser.
Claro. Pues recuérdanos, ¿cuántas tiendas de Taco Palenque son las que están abiertas ahora y cuántas de Palenque Grill?
Mira, en el caso de Taco Palenque deben de ser 27 abiertas ahorita en Texas y están por abrirse 27 o 28 y están por abrirse Corpus Christi, San Antonio, 2 en Austin. Están por abrirse como 4 o 5 o 6 en este año.
Sí.
Estamos apenas, mi hijo el mayor, Juan Francisco Jr., fue el que tomó la rienda de esta compañía, el Grupo Palenque, y desde hace 2 años y medio empezó a armar el equipo. Ahorita tiene un equipo muy bien montado para poder el despegue, y estamos exactamente en la cabecera de la pista para despegar, ya arrancando. Esperamos que nos vaya muy bien en el futuro.
Claro, claro que sí. pues va a ser una gran aventura como la que has tenido en todos tus años, pero estamos seguros de que te va a ir muy bien y yo quiero decir ahorita abiertamente que en pocos años seguramente te voy a volver a entrevistar o voy a entrevistar a alguno de tus hijos y vamos a volver a platicar de lo que ha sido el avance o la continuación de esta historia. La verdad es que yo siento que ustedes son un gran ejemplo para los latinos y los mexicanos que vivimos en los Estados Unidos, no solamente porque han tenido éxito en lo que han hecho, sino porque han aplicado los valores que tiene nuestra cultura, ¿verdad? Al negocio y lo han hecho con mucho éxito, Pancho. Así que muchas felicidades por eso.
Muchas gracias, Jorge. Te quería comentar que un amigo de la Ciudad de México, que es escritor, escribe libros, me hizo el favor de escribir un libro que se llama El Pollo Loco, una historia de pasión y lucha. Y habla un poquito también de Taco Palenque y de muchas cosas que es imposible comentarlos en una entrevista así, pero si a alguien le interesa el libro, no está a la venta, pero por medio tuyo, con todo gusto, se lo chequeamos a quien lo quiera.
Claro. Sí, no, muy bien. Vamos a poner eso como letrero a ver si alguien se interesa. Y también quiero preguntarte y pedirte tu autorización si hay alguien de los que vea la entrevista y quiere contactarte o quiere de alguna manera hacerte una pregunta diferente o algo así. Si nos das permiso, lo mandamos con tu asistente para que te puedan localizar y contactar.
Absolutamente sí. Me encanta hacer eso. Me fascina.
Muy bien. Pues bueno, no me resta más que agradecerte muchísimo el tiempo, la historia, los conocimientos y las anécdotas que nos compartiste. Realmente se nos fue estos 40 y tantos minutos rapidísimo. Me encantan esas historias y yo creo que a nuestra audiencia también le van a gustar muchísimo. Y gracias una vez más y seguimos en contacto.
Ojalá. Gracias a ti, Jorge. Muchas gracias. Saludos a todos.
Saludos, Pancho. Muchas gracias y felicidades.
Bye.
Well,